Okay, so this is going to be top 8. Brandon was my only loss in Swiss, and I'm going up against Bestial Malice. The cool thing about Brandon is at the most recent YCS he managed to get top 4, which is pretty cool. And I won a dice roll, so I should be fine, because that means if I win game 1, if I end up losing game 2, then we know what to do game 3, right? Side deck is Lancias and Chaos Hunters, and it should like increase the odds in our favor. And this hand's fairly weak, but I opened Tresaros, so if we were to choose to Ash Foolish, Ash the Smyger, then I can just chain my Tresaros and then get access to my Sufferer that way. So, but if you had double hand trap, I was kind of cooked, because like Droll is not that great against his matchup. Like very rarely it can affect them, but for the most part it's not that great. They can play around it. So I add Inclusion and add Sofador, and since you take this route, Sofador has to send Cluster because Smyger searches Inclusion, so that's the way it goes typically. Sending, yeah, just so I can add back. Just adding follow up. Like there's nothing else you would want to send.
That's actually cool. That's cool.
Dice Fern, add Smyger. Just double checking my hand real quick, and then I end up adding it for sure. Just another card I can discard off of droplets. And then now I'm just trying to resolve my sequence and go for the Synchro, go for a Lesk, activate Tristaros, pop a Synchro to control, summon 2 Christians from deck, add back Cluster. So I'm feeling pretty good. I have Cluster, Droll, and Droplet. But he drops the Ash, and usually this is not a bad Ash. You just hold the Ash for that, because that means you stop Infinity, you stop Tresaros. Like if you can deal with the Cluster, just Ash the Tresaros effect. It just prevents the Omni, prevents the quick synchro. You know, seems pretty good. And then he reveals a lure, and I'm like, oh damn, this draw might actually be good. You know, this draw actually might be good, because I was like, oh, that's awesome. And he reveals Chessie effect, burns for 300. Summons it back, and then in Resolution I Droll, and he just links it away for the Talker, and I'm like, okay, that means he has a Bestial. He still has his normal summon, and right now I'm thinking like, okay, Bestial, he's preserving the Dormouse, which is what I'm most concerned about, right? And he's gonna try to spot remove on my back row, which is like fair enough. That's just usually what you do when you want to resolve a particular card. And he was SP, and I'm like hoping he hits the Cluster, because I could just chain Cluster and not have it not be banished. But the Druish is going to take care of my Lesk, which is kind of annoying because I can only pop 1 then, because popping 2 is quite devastating versus Malice. Just keep them off of 3 bodies is typically what you want to do. And then he summons his Dormouse, and I'm like, okay, do I pop it? Okay, this puts him on another Bestial, right? Like that's like, okay, maybe I should have just maybe I should have just dropped it here, just to ensure that he doesn't get access to the trap, to the banish, and then just droplets the Link. I think that might have been better. Looking back at it now, I think maybe that would have been a better choice. But I was just gambling on the Bestial. Like, does he have the Bestial or not? Because if he doesn't have a Bestial, then I'm fine. I just drop it still. You know, I don't know. Maybe I should have just dropped it, the Dormouse, and then just save the pop, because I think the pop is way more devastating. So he goes into White Binder. White Binder takes care of my follow up, which is kind of devastating. So now, all I'm trying to do now is just basically save this Cluster. That's all I'm going to use this droplet for. Just ensure that this Cluster just stays live, so he can't banish any of my Christians for follow-up, right? Because most of his interactions is banishing. And if I can keep my Cluster up, then I should be fine. So then he summons his access code, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I am going to droplet that. There's no way. But he uses the effect for cost. It's negated, but still does cost. Revises White Binder. And then right here, I'm like, okay, does he play Phoenix? And And then he goes, Cerberus. I'm like, okay, the hell? Cerberus? Okay, fine, that's fine. And then he goes bow. I was like, oh crap, okay, yeah, I'm gonna lose my cluster. Yeah, cluster gets rid of my... I mean, the bow gets rid of my cluster, and then he just passes. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not liking this. I draw into inclusion, which is okay, but I would have rather see this with cluster up, but yeah. So right now I'm just like trying to play into it, trying to bait things, right, to ensure that that inclusion goes unhindered. But he has both traps. He has bow to pop, so I'm not sure. This is not looking too great. And then he just banishes my Smiger. Yeah. He doesn't banish my cluster, which is great. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can just add any of those Christian cards back if they get banished. Yeah, so in Dormouse, White Rabbit sets. Yeah, it's Malice is a it's one of those decks that you kind of have to play into it, and as you play into their board, it start revealing what they can want to use, which is cool about spot removal. It's not the same as an Omni where you have to interact at a particular point. You can like wait for the sequence to unravel and see, okay, where is this going, and eventually you go spot removal, which is what I like about spot removal. I go Typhon, and I just end up scooping. It's just too much. But we're going into game 2, so I know exactly what to do. My side deck is mainly geared toward this matchup. Putting in the Lancias, putting in the Hunters, and keeping in the Crossout. I take out the I'm pretty sure I take out the take out the Veilers. Yeah, take out the Veilers and Trolls because I feel like I would rather see Hunter or Lancia into this matchup. You know, it just seems way better. This is way better. And although it is a 60 card deck, so seeing the odds of seeing the side deck is not as likely on paper, right? Statistically speaking, or just by percentage. But like, still, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! You're gonna be able to see it regardless. Like, so many times you see one-ofs that are not meant to be consistently in your hand. If you watch the previous matches, I kept drawing grass. I just kept drawing grass, bro. Just the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh theory. So then, okay, I freaking draw on Takaton board. Like, what the hell in 60, bro? My hand's pretty damn busted. Okay, so I have access to an Omni. I have access to Terratop, which is either or, right? Which is nice. So I'm like, no effect. I go Takaton Borg, and then he drops a Charmy. I'm like, okay. You don't typically mind this one. You mind Perulia or Meows. So then I'm like, right here, I'm thinking like, hey, well, do I give him a draw or not? And then I'm like, that's fine. And he drops a second one. I'm like, oh my god, because I'm not gonna give him any draws here. These Speedroids are just gonna stay on field. I'm gonna just try to control with Griffin and try to establish things for next turn. You know, get my engine going. We're gonna go ahead and add place our Fateful. Fateful will then search our Griffin. And yeah, because I do not want to give him any draws. He's gonna draw 2 off of that, so I'd rather just put him on. Okay, can your 4 interactions play past my 2 interactions, right? Because if I give him like 2 more draws, there's no way. You know, there's just no way. And there's the possibility that he could brick. So I do not want to unbrick his hand. So then now, I go ahead, activate that, and we're gonna go for, what are we going for again? I think we're going for cluster. Yeah, we're going for cluster. Yeah, so we're just gonna pass with our Omni and our cluster, and it should be fine because cluster can pop a Malice monster, and Griffin can stop an extender, and that's basically all I'm banking on. Like that's what I'm hoping for, that it'll be sufficient, it'll be enough. And then I trigger my Faithful to equip my Draco back to my adventure token. So the first time it would be destroyed by battle, it is not because of Faithful. It protects equipped monsters. And then I just pass, and I give him no draws. So he's drawing. And he has 4 cards here. So that's my main thing is, okay, stop, pop the normal summon, stop the extender. And if he pushes past that, then there's not much I can do. So then I pop it. He goes Bestial, and usually you would go. You get punished if you stop the Bestial, because of that. What if they have another Bestial and then they still get the Malice effect? So I just stopped the special summon from banished instead. And then once he passes, I'm like, okay, this is over. This should be fine. I just gotta find a way to get game. Now I'm mainly concerned about playing into a Nib or like a Veiler, like, you know. But I think it should be okay. But I had to debate whether I want to go for the Omni. If I go for the Omni, I can't really. I don't have engine. I mean, I could have popped with my turtle and summon C3 that way, but then I don't get access to my Infinity because I'll be locked into Machine Synchros that way. So I just risk it and just go into a Cherubini line to get access to my actual engine, right? We go for our Sofador. Pretty sure I go for Sofador. Yeah, go Sofador, then we can pop the Inclusion and then try to pop off from there. Yeah. Oh no. I go. Yeah. I think I do this to play around. What am I playing around? Just so I won't be locked. So I think I'm keeping my options open, so I don't be locked. And I can still go for an SP line. Yeah, I think that's what it was. We go into our Smiger. Smiger will just to pitch for the Sofafnir. I want to preserve my Inclusion. I don't want to use my Inclusion yet, so I still have access to Inclusion summon. I still have my Sofador summon. So in case he has like a Nib, right? Because even he bricks as well, so he's top decking right now. So even if he does like Nib drop me, I'm trying to ensure that I can pivot, right? And once I get to this point, I'm like, okay, so this helps me play around Nib a bit better, because that means that I can use Trishtar's effect main phase 2 or after post Nib. So then I go cluster pop that, and then I have enough for game on board just by not finishing the sequence in case he does have Nib, because my Cherubini is on 2k. Normal summon, and then I just go battle phase. Because if he has Nib, then I just resolve my sequence post Nib, and then he just keeps like, yeah. It's just great. He had Shifter in hand, but he couldn't use it. And then he reveals he's drawing Shifter, and he was revealing 3 Shifter back to back. I was like, what the hell, bro? Yeah, that was crazy. Maybe he was debating whether he wanted to go for Shifter or Charmy. I don't know. Maybe Shifter would have been better, I guess. No, but what if he drew for turn? So I'm not sure if he had Shifter. He would have used the Shifter for sure. So going second, putting in board breakers. I'm taking out the crossouts. Like, yeah, I would rather have like a Lancia battle or Chaos Hunter battle, and just board break, you know, instead of having to see the crossout going second. I put in the Vedas because the Vedas are there strictly to protect the Chaos Hunter whenever they go, like, because usually Cerberus is how they out it. So I want to make sure I can have some form of protection for the Hunter. So I take out 1 and 1 because I'm usually okay. I'm comfortable with playing 2 and 2 of the level 5s, because if you watch the previous deck profiles, I've been playing 2 and 2, and it's been working fine. But for this variant, I just maxed it out because I was just trying to fill it up all the way to 60, and it works fine. So then we get ready for game 3.
Dual mode engaged. Autopilot
He's going first. He's going first, and he's like thinking about it for a second. And his hand looks pretty good. And he's Chessie. This is where I'm like, it's just so risky, because like sometimes when they do this, that's all they have. So if you can go like they go effect, you chain in perm. They need an extender. And right here, what I was hoping would happen was, I was hoping from the link it away so I can drop the Hunter, but he didn't do that. So then I was like, oh shit, that's not great, because then I would have been okay, because he can't extend after that, right? But then he goes with Field Spell Underground, and then this is where I'm like, this is annoying. I can't drop the Hunter now, because then he just Cerberus, so like goes Cerberus, discard, pops the Hunter, right? But maybe I should have done that, because that means it puts him in front of Nib, like in hindsight, that's after like I was like, oh yeah, because throughout this entire turn, I was like, maybe I should have done that instead. I think maybe it would have been much better. Because right, I could have dropped it here, yeah. I could possibly have dropped it here, but then he just summons back his Talker, and then he has access to Cerberus, and then he has this, something. Maybe I should have dropped it here and just force him into depleting his hand. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I really wanted him to link away first so I can drop the Hunter, but he just didn't do it that way. And I'm not sure if that was intentional to play around the Chaos Hunter, but that's what I was expecting, and it just didn't happen. I was like, oh, it's kind of rough here. So then, like once the play keeps going, I'm like, when am I gonna nib? Because I don't want to drop Hunter and then nib, because I lose my Hunter, and then I can't really control the game that way. Because I'm trying to preserve this Hunter as much as I can, and I'm trying to see if there's another chance I can drop it where it can be just out of range of Cerberus, right? So then he goes into, what is he going to? He goes into this guy, and maybe I should have dropped it here. I think maybe I should have dropped it here. I think, but once again, I'm thinking like, okay, I'll nib first and then Hunter him, so I can have a body at least. And then once again, like he's stuck here. I think looking back at it, I think maybe I should have just dropped it here, and then because like force him into Cerberus, right? I think I should have. Yeah, no, not looking back at it now. Yeah, I think that would have been wiser. Because now he goes into he goes into Mask. And he goes Cryptor to pop the token. And I'm like, oh my god, it's just so annoying. Yeah, I think that was like, I think it just unraveled to a point where maybe I should have sequenced this a bit different. So now I'm just hoping that I can draw into a Line Storm, so I can force the back row and then trigger my Hunter, and I draw into Takitomborg again, bro. Takitomborg again. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I think in hindsight, maybe I should have dropped the Hunter earlier and just force him into a Cerberus line. Then I go for Typhon. And then he's just gonna banish it. Well, he's gonna chain the White Binder and then try to banish stuff, but I think I just chain Droplet. At this point, it doesn't matter. I think there was a misplay on my part somewhere. I should have dropped it earlier, so should have sequenced it in a different manner. And yeah. But that's the point. That's the point of the learning process of seeing these mistakes. But for the most part, it was well played by Brendan. It was really well played. But anyways, there's my top 8.
There wasn't a real time to drop it without you just going into service. Oh yeah, true. I think that's fine. I told me just to like drop it on my turn and then turn off everything. I don't think you need to take stock, but I think you can. GG.